Thank you, Madam Chair. Um, Welcome, Chair Yellen. Thank you for being here with us today. The many reports on the economy show continuing improvement. The stock market is high. Unemployment continues to go down. There are elements of the economy that are flourishing. But I urge you to remember that there are locations in the country where the recovery really has not been experienced much. One is my home state of Rhode Island, where unemployment is still at 8.7%. And although that puts us in the unhappy position of being the leading state in the country, there are similar geographic areas in larger states that are experiencing similar difficulties. We are a long way from the boom of Wall Street. We are a long way down the pipeline from the natural gas boom. We are a long way from the big interventions like the auto industry rescue that were so beneficial in the Midwest. And I guess two things. One, I urge you to not be beguiled by the national numbers into forgetting the areas where it's still very difficult locally. And second, to ask you what policies you think might be helpful for those states that are still, and areas, geographic areas that are still suffering economically.
Well, so I agree completely with your characterization of the national situation. There are pockets of the country that are doing extremely well, in part the areas where energy production is very strong, and some other areas as well. But I think your description of the situation in Rhode Island, many areas of the country share the problems that you describe. Our objective in monetary policy is to continue to maintain an accommodative monetary policy for as long as necessary to see recovery of the labor market to a state. It's hard to know exactly how to characterize it quantitatively, but what the Federal Reserve Act calls maximum employment, or we used to call full employment for short, and in many ways we're far from that, and that's part of the reason why not only is there a shortage of jobs, but also I think wages are rising as slowly as they are. And our mission is both to make sure that inflation moves back up to our 2% objective, but also to want to foster continued recovery in the labor market to help Rhode Island and other places like it.
One of the ways that I find I can help at home is to help support infrastructure projects, particularly since we have a national infrastructure deficit in a great number of areas, highways, water facilities, so forth. From the sort of high perch that you look down on the economy from, is there a difference between spending that goes out the door in the form of essentially expense and spending that results in a tangible asset that remains in the United States of America as a highway or a water treatment plant or some other facility is?
So I guess the way I would look at it in the short run in terms of creating jobs in the economy and for trying to get the economy getting output back up to the potential of what we can produce, it doesn't matter where the spending occurs. It doesn't matter whether it's for a capital investment or
it's valuable either way in that
something else.
sense.
But from the standpoint of long-run growth, it does make a great deal of difference what the spending is on, and investment spending and capital formation helps not only create jobs in the short term, but to promote growth in the long term.
So there's an immediate value to spending in either direction in terms of economic recovery, but the long-term value is for the spending that is on infrastructure that creates a lasting asset.
Right, and I think one of the reasons we have seen a decline in the productivity growth over the last several years, and one reason for it is that firms have been spending less and doing less capital formation. So this holds not only on the public investment side, it holds on the private investment side as well. And that's in a way one of the ways in which this shortfall, this recession that we're still recovering from, has served to harm the growth of the economy over the medium or longer term.
My time is up. Thank you for being with us. Thank you, Chairman.